My wife cheated and said she needed a real man. I left her there itself, and now my phone blew up with 24 missed calls. I, 32M, still can't believe what happened last night. My world has completely shattered, and I'm sitting in a hotel room trying to make sense of everything. My wife and I have been married for 6 years. We met in college, dated for 3 years, and I thought we had a solid relationship. Sure, we had our ups and downs like any couple, but nothing major. At least that's what I thought. Yesterday was our anniversary. I had planned a surprise dinner at home. I left work early, picked up her favorite flowers, and spent hours preparing a special meal. I even bought a small gift I knew she'd love. I texted her saying I'd be working late and that we should meet at 8 for dinner at a restaurant. Around 5 p.m., I realized I forgot to pick up the wine she likes. I drove to the store, got the wine, and headed home. As I pulled into our driveway, I noticed an unfamiliar car parked in front. I didn't think much of it at first, maybe a neighbor's guest or someone visiting nearby. When I entered our house, I heard noises coming from upstairs. Our bedroom. I froze. Part of me knew what was happening, but I couldn't believe it. I slowly walked up the stairs, each step feeling heavier than the last. The bedroom door was partially open. I pushed it, and there they were. My wife and a man I'd never seen before. In our bed. The bed we bought together when we first moved in. They both scrambled to cover themselves. The stranger looked shocked, but my wife's expression is what haunts me. She wasn't even embarrassed. She looked annoyed, like I had interrupted something important. "What are you doing home?" she asked coldly. I couldn't speak. 6 years of marriage, and this is what it had come to. "You weren't supposed to be here," she said, as if that made it okay. I finally found my voice. "It's our anniversary." The man started collecting his clothes, mumbling apologies. My wife just sat there, sheet pulled up to her chest, watching me. "I was going to tell you," she said. "It's been going on for a while." "How long?" I managed to ask. 3 months. 3 months. 90 days of lies. 90 days of me being completely oblivious. "Why?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. What she said next is burned into my memory. "I needed a real man. Someone exciting. You've become so boring and predictable." A real man. Those words cut deeper than anything I've ever felt. 6 years together, and that's how she saw me. The stranger was fully dressed now, looking desperately for an escape route. I stepped aside from the doorway. "Get out," I told him. He practically ran down the stairs. My wife started saying something else, but I couldn't hear her anymore. I walked downstairs, grabbed my keys, and left. I could hear her calling my name as I walked to my car, but I didn't look back. I drove to a hotel, checked in, and turned off my phone. This morning when I turned it back on, I had 24 missed calls. 20 from my wife, 3 from her sister, and 1 from her best friend. I haven't called any of them back. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Our life together, our plans for the future, our talk about starting a family next year. Was it all a lie? I'm sitting here, staring at my phone, wondering if there's anything left to salvage. Or if I even want to try. Update 1 next day. First, I want to thank everyone for the support. I didn't expect so many responses. I've read every comment, and they've helped me think clearer. I finally listened to some voicemails and read the texts. My wife's messages started angry, "How dare you walk out like that?" Then shifted to apologetic, "I didn't mean what I said." And finally became desperate, "Please come home. We need to talk." Her sister and best friend both said I should hear her out. That there's more to the story. What more could there possibly be? I called my brother and told him everything. He offered me his guest room for as long as I need. I'll be moving there tonight. I texted my wife that I'll come by tomorrow when she's at work to get some clothes and necessities. I need time to think, and I can't face her yet. The real man comment keeps playing in my head. 6 years together, and that's how she sees me. I can't get past it. My brother suggested talking to a lawyer just to understand my options. I made an appointment for next week. I'm not rushing into anything, but I need to know where I stand. I haven't eaten properly since it happened. I'm trying to keep it together at work, but my boss noticed something was wrong and told me to take a few days off. I might take him up on that. I'll update again after I get my things from the house. Update 2, 3 days later. I went to our house to get my things. I timed it when she would be at work, but she must have taken the day off because her car was in the driveway. I almost turned around, but I needed my clothes and laptop for work. When I walked in, she was sitting on the couch. Her eyes were red and swollen. She stood up immediately and tried to hug me, but I stepped back. "I'm just here for my things," I said. She started crying, saying how sorry she was, that she didn't mean what she said, that she made a terrible mistake. I stayed quiet and went upstairs to pack. She followed me, talking the whole time. She said she'd been feeling neglected, that we had fallen into a routine, that the other guy meant nothing to her. Classic excuses. Then she said something that stopped me. She claimed I had been emotionally distant for the past year, That I worked too much and never talked to her about anything important anymore. That when she tried to tell me she was unhappy, I dismissed her concerns. I tried to remember if this was true. We both have demanding jobs, and yes, maybe I had been preoccupied with the promotion I was working toward. But I always thought we were solid. I asked her why she didn't try harder to make me understand or suggest counseling. I did, she said. Twice. You said we were fine and that I was overthinking things. I honestly don't remember these conversations. Maybe I wasn't listening as well as I thought. None of this excuses what she did. She betrayed my trust in the worst way. But it made me realize that maybe I wasn't perfect either. As I was leaving with my bags, she asked if this was it. If we were over. I told her I didn't know, but I needed space. She gave me a letter and asked me to read it when I was ready. I haven't opened it yet. It's sitting on my brother's coffee table, and I look at it every time I walk by. My brother's been great, giving me space but also making sure I eat and don't just wallow. I'm seeing the lawyer tomorrow. I still don't know what I want. Part of me wants to try to fix things. 6 years is a long time to throw away. Another part feels like I can never trust her again. And that real man comment still stings more than anything. Update 3, 1 week later. I met with the lawyer, who explained the divorce process. Just hearing the word divorce out loud made this all so real. She outlined what it would look like financially, with the house, all of it. I took notes but couldn't focus completely. I finally read my wife's letter. It was 8 pages, handwritten. She detailed how we grew apart, how she felt invisible in our marriage. She wrote about trying to reconnect with me, and her frustration when I didn't notice. She owned her mistake completely, called it the worst decision of her life. She ended by saying she would respect whatever I decided but hoped I would give us another chance. I've been thinking about the last year. Work consumed me. The promotion meant longer hours, more stress. I thought I was building our future, but maybe I was just escaping the present. I remember now brushing off her concerns, thinking she was just having a bad day. I wasn't the husband I thought I was. I agreed to meet her at a coffee shop, neutral territory. She looked terrible, like she hadn't slept in days. I probably didn't look much better. We talked for 3 hours. Really talked, for the first time in maybe years. No accusations, no defensiveness, just honesty. She told me about feeling lonely in our marriage. I told her about the pressure I put on myself at work. We both cried, not caring who saw. The affair was still inexcusable. She knows that, but I understand better how we got to this point. She's been staying with her sister. I'm still at my brother's. We agreed to start counseling, both individually and as a couple. Our first joint session is next week. I don't know if we'll make it. The trust is shattered, and that real man comment cut deep. But 6 years together means something. We owe it to ourselves to at least try. My brother thinks I'm crazy for not walking away immediately. Maybe he's right. But this situation isn't black and white. We both failed our marriage in different ways. For now, we're taking it one day at a time. I'm not moving back in yet. I need to work on myself first, understand how I contributed to the breakdown of our marriage. She needs to earn back my trust, which might never fully happen. If there's anything I've learned, it's that relationships require constant attention. You can't put them on autopilot and expect everything to be fine. I'll update again after we've been in counseling for a while. Thank you all for the support and advice, even the harsh ones. They help me see things clearly. Update 4, 1 month later. It's been a month of individual therapy and couples counseling. I've learned more about myself in these weeks than in years before. Our therapist is direct and doesn't let either of us hide behind excuses. My wife has been completely transparent. She gave me access to all her accounts, changed her phone number, and cut contact with the other person. She answered every question I had about the affair, no matter how painful. According to her, it started as a friendship with a coworker that crossed boundaries when our marriage was at its lowest. In my individual sessions, I've confronted how I shut down emotionally when work gets stressful, how I thought providing financially was enough, how I stopped really seeing my wife as a person with needs beyond the material. We've had homework from our counselor, communication exercises, dedicated time together with no phones, honest conversations about our needs and boundaries. It's been exhausting but clarifying. I moved back into our house last week, but we're sleeping in separate rooms. Taking it slow. Rebuilding trust isn't a linear process. Some days I feel hopeful. Others, I remember walking into our bedroom and feel sick all over again. That real man comment still bothers me. In counseling, she broke down explaining it. She said she was trying to hurt me because she felt so ashamed being caught. She's apologized countless times, but words like that don't disappear easily. We're both committed to the process, whatever the outcome. Maybe that's the best we can do right now. I don't know if our marriage will survive, but I know we'll both come out of this stronger, whether together or apart. Thank you all for listening. This community has been a lifeline during the darkest time of my life.